For the last 3 months we have been following the lives of 3 people who developed a disability from an early age. In this episode we will see how one family's determination and successful fundraising changed the life of their son.
It's the dolphin therapy that's kicked off his skills, which he's carried on through school. It's not been done the other way around.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
One who's lived through the hardships and come out smiling.
And yeah, you'd be going down the street and people would stare, not only adults but children. And you'd kind of like, I know at times I would feel like just turning around and saying, oh, what are you staring at? But my mum didn't seem to worry about it at all.
And another whose life has exceeded their expectations.
Well, my friends, I think they're used to it, so I just get playful comments. I won't tell you who they are. But other people who don't know me, they talk about me behind my back, I can still hear them. They call me a faker. It's just, you just have to deal with it, I suppose. Yeah, that's my longest wheelie ever. Hello! Oh, I'm Daniel.
Say, my name's Daniel.
Oh, my name's Daniel.
How old's Daniel?
14.
You're 19.
39.
Daniel was born in 1991 in Lincoln Hospital, and at the age of 9 he and his family moved to Milton Keynes and lives with his mum, dad, sister Amy and cousin Tammy.
Daniel was 6 weeks early and he was born quite healthy, and everything was quite normal with him until he got to 4.5 months old, and then he fell ill and he went into hospital and he stayed there for 5 weeks, and he wasn't very well and he ended up brain damaged. His diagnosis was cerebral palsy. He'd been ill with what they thought was meningitis. Then they decided it was something called Reye syndrome, and it damaged and affected his brain. He's been very slow developing, and they said that he wouldn't walk, he wouldn't talk, and he wouldn't do all the things that normal children do.
Doris was born in 1927 in London. She now lives on her own in Newport Pagnell. Her daughter Estelle lives close by while her son David lives in Wales. When she was 6 months old she caught polio and it affected her whole right side. Growing up she had to wear a splint on her leg to keep the right one straight and have operations to try and put her feet right.
And growing up, when I was about 7 or 8, they had to operate to release the ligaments to put my toes down because the toes was stuck up near my leg. So I had 3 operations altogether, and then of course it had to be 3 days a week at the hospital for treatment, which didn't really work. When Mother first realised what this was, when she took me to the hospital, they sent me to a specialist hospital down at Hitchin, I think it was. But of course that didn't work, because when Mum came to see me after about a week, she couldn't come very often because there were 6 children in the family and I was the youngest. So she came down to see me the following week, and of course they'd got the splint on the wrong leg, got a hot water bottle on my bag leg which had burnt it, and they hadn't changed my napkin for a couple of days, so I was soaking wet. So my mother said, right, I'm going home, get you some clothes, come back and take you home, which she did. But they said, well, if she hadn't have taken me when she did, it could have gone right up to my brain and caused me more damage. So I was fortunate in a way that that's what happened. So that was a quick thinking of my mother that's helped me to keep going as I am.
Rhys Russell was born in Milton Keynes in 1988. He experienced a normal childhood up to the age of 4, but it wasn't until he was 13 that he was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, also known as ME.
I started losing use of my body parts for several hours a day, my arms, my legs. I mean, I'd wake up fine 1 minute and then the next minute I'd be bedbound. It was quite a difficult thing to get used to.
I couldn't get dressed myself, I couldn't wash myself, I couldn't do the things around the house that I had to do.
If I'd done too many activities in the day, I'd become so tired I couldn't cope.
I couldn't even make it to the front door or into the car.
Reese's school years were one of the hardest experiences he has had to face despite any other obstacles in his life. He has had to come to terms with discrimination from his own classmates in the form of verbal and physical abuse and disgraceful behaviour from his own teachers.
I was cornered by the gate of my school. My mum picked me up one day and they actually attacked the car. After that, my mum came to the school herself and to talk to the head teacher, and he just tore her apart. I was taken out of that school and moved to another one after 2 years. It didn't improve my health, but it was better for me. I was a lot happier while I was there. The times I did attend the school, it was the bullying was nowhere near as bad as what I was used to, but by this point I had learnt to fight for myself.
In 1993, Angela started to organise a large number of events to raise money for Daniel to be given a walking frame, designed and built by the David Hart Foundation.
We organised money through public donations, and we had lots of response to the Lincolnshire Echo articles, and we raised enough money to buy him his trainer. So that was designed because he was spending his life in a wheelchair. This walking trainer gave him a whole new perspective on life. He could see world from standing up position, and he could use his legs to walk about, and it would prevent the muscle wastage on his legs. So that was successful for a few years. We had to keep raising the money though for further maintenance, and then for a bigger walking trainer. In the end, the frame was so big around the base that we didn't really have enough room, so we had to abandon all hopes of getting a new one. We thought, well, the next best thing to develop his brain would be to send him to the dolphins to have dolphin therapy. So once again we started fundraising. We managed to raise enough for his first visit to the dolphins in South Florida, and whilst there they taught him to string sentences, string words together and make a sentence, and he really enjoyed it. He would do anything to get into the water, so his first thing that he learnt to say was, "I want to swim with Dreamer, please." We managed to raise some more money. Once again we took him back to the dolphins, but he had a total of 3 sessions out with the dolphins, and each time he came back with a new skill, like counting, colours, more words, and it just taught him really to think for himself, ask for what he wanted, and really be counted. So he's done really well.
Doris was in her early teens when she was put in front of a tribunal and examined before being classed as physically disabled. The mobility money she was entitled to allowed her and her husband to pay for a car and general living.
My physio, who saw me at that time, he said, "Well, when you go out, what do you use?" I said, "Well, I use a stick," and I said, "I usually hold on to my husband or my daughter, whoever I'm going out with. But I said, if I'm going to trip over, I'll bring them down with me." So he said, "Well, we can't have that." He said, "You'll have to have one of these trilators." Anyway, it was just a week or 2 after that, and they sent me and said that, yes, you are eligible, because you are, I think they called me 80% disabled. So that was helpful, and with that, just after that, they started the Motability scheme. I never thought I'd get married, but I met your granddad, if that's acceptable. I met him when I was 17. He was home on leave, and we wrote to each other all during the rest of the war, and when he came home on leave we used to see each other. Then we got married. We were married almost 60 years, all but a few months. And then I had my son, and then I had my daughter, and I think I've coped quite well with them. They've both grown up reasonable.
So, well, just basically sort of being at home, obviously, helping mum and dad out, doing what I could in the house, and obviously left school at an early age to help my mum, sort of go shopping and go out with her and help her in the house and things like that. So just general duties that you do, general things that you would do, but just a little bit more so.
For the last 12 years, Daniel has attended the Redway School and his family have seen significant improvement in his speech and physical skills.
Are you doing PE?
Chin, shopping,
And trampoline? And shopping? And money? Do you pay?
Cooking,
What do you cook?
cooking cakes, cooking cakes.
You cooking cakes?
Oh, his school's superb. I mean, he's got the school have really helped his progress. But I think the dolphins have helped the school to help him with his progress.
Since school, Reese's social skills and confidence have grown, and despite the setback of being confined to a chair while out and about, his friends don't treat him as any different to themselves.
Not so much on the clubbing, but mainly because I don't like the music. But yes, I do go out shopping on my own and such. If I go to the pub, I like to go to the pub a lot with my friends. We watch football on big TV. The only problem is reaching the bar. The drink they always seem to put the drink on the bit at the back, and I can't quite reach it. So I either have to stretch or actually stand up and get it, and that again causes problems with other people who actually don't know that I can get out of my chair. People saying things like, well, if you can walk, why don't you just walk into the shop? People just saying I'm lazy and that's why I'm in a wheelchair.
One area of life his condition didn't stop him from pursuing was relationships. He never dreamed that one day he would settle down with his own family.
How do we meet? We met as I was walking past McDonald's. I felt like go into my heel. I turned around, and there's Reese in his wheelchair. Come on. What did you say to me?
I asked if you fancied the lift.
So he took me to HMV was next. And it was a bit weird because we had to go upstairs and had to go to the lift with him.
I always have to use lifts, it's not weird.
Yeah, so it was weird for me. So we went upstairs and went to the music section.
Yeah.
And he went one way and I went the other, basically.
Well, I asked her out because I picked up the last CD and it's one of the only bands we agreed on, and it was the last copy of the CD they had and I let her have it. And I thought, seems I've let her have it, I'll be cheeky enough to ask her out, so I did.
We sort of talked about it while I was pregnant, but we didn't really know how it was going to work until she came along. And obviously, as she's grown up and developed, we've had to develop our own sort of system. Because obviously before she was little, she just sort of sat around, and now she's more mobile herself. Had to adapt the way we supposed to respond to her.
The apartment that Doris is living in means she needs extra help whenever she wishes to leave. The lift, which allows her to get to the ground floor, is so small that she can't fit in it with her chair as well.
First thing I was thinking about was here with the lift. There's not enough room to get in this lift in a wheelchair. I can only just about get in there with this, so that's not convenient really. And what we've tried to get here is a larger lift, but they say there's no space for them because we've got one this side of the building and one round the other side. We've just had this one repaired after years of breaking down and all that sort of thing.
chair. Put Mum in the wheelchair
Outside this door.
outside the door, right? We get to the lift. I have to take the feet off the wheelchair, get Mum out of the wheelchair, get her to hold onto the handle. I then put the wheelchair in the lift with the feet on the top of the seat because it won't go in with the feet. Send that down, and I go down with that. Send the lift back up for Mum to get into the lift. Bring that down, and then get her back into the wheelchair and put the feet on, and then wheel her to the car.
Well, in a way, it makes you feel sort of embarrassed, you know. You feel you're inferior. That's how it makes you feel. When people used to look at you when you're walking along the road and that, you know, they used to make you feel really uncomfortable. So I used to hate going out on my own, or in where there were a lot of people. I used to try and keep away from people as much as I could, you know, because it made you feel really uncomfortable. Then now I can explain it to people, you know, because I mean, there's people now that I've known for years that don't really understand just what's wrong with me, because a lot of people don't think there's anything wrong with my right arm. They don't think there's anything wrong with me left foot. And they don't really know that I've had it since I was 6 months old. So if people were to ask you, you know, talk to you as normal, well then you could explain things to them. And then it's not sympathy you want, it's just that, you know, you want a bit of sort of help and encouragement.
Daniel's family are now helping to prepare him for the next stage of his life. Plans for him to move into a bungalow shared by 2 of his friends will give him the independence and freedom that any young man needs at the age of 19.
Oh, he's progressed quite a long way. I mean, he's got a lot of understanding. He just seems to have come out of himself. He just seems to really understand and listen to what's going on, and he does contribute to conversations and situations, really. And he's quite manipulative now as well. He usually gets what he wants. He's going to go to a nice bungalow. He's going to have a carer and 3 friends living with him. So he will have lots of company and he won't get bored.
Doris now lives on her own, but is still very independent. Although over the years her disability has caused other problems. She still likes to go out to Newport Pagnell and up to the city centre to go out shopping. But nowadays she has to have someone with her to push her wheelchair, but she can still do the things she likes to do.
Well, basically, since she was 6 months old, she's achieved the fact that she's coming up for 83 this year. So she's had this all her life, and she's struggled with the pain that she's had, and obviously deteriorating a lot in the last few years. But she's just kept going. She's a very, very positive woman.
Reece started to focus on what was important to him, his new friends, and his ability to go out and work.
I'm walking a bit more, taking the chair in case I need it. The next thing I want to do is learn to drive. I don't want to take my daughter to school in a wheelchair.